I want to ask a quick question. The last round of the game we played, you all weren't able to make any pair or any groups. Why was that?
No twos.
No twos. Here's another question. I have two cards here. This is a king and a 3. Also, if there's one thing I've learned this week, it's that you all love playing card games. Which is why I brought a few extras. So I'm hoping you can answer this question. Which of these cards is more valuable?
King.
The newer
King.
one.
The newer one. Well, they came out of the same box. Depends on what you're using them for. Most of you say the king. How many of you say the king? How many of you say the 3? How many of you say it depends? Any other answers? Any other answers I missed? Most of you say the king, so the king's the winner. Now, what were to happen, again, this is a question that's going to be answered mostly by our card players. What were to happen if I removed this? You pick the 3 as the less valuable card. What would happen if I took the 3 out of the deck? It's incomplete. Can you play Go Fish? Can you play Solitaire? Okay, what if I took the king out? Same thing. In the context of the game, these cards have different values, but in the context of life and the ability to play the game, the value is the same, right? I mean, if you were to try to sell these cards on eBay, they'd probably go for the same price. It's not like people care about, no one would buy the card, by the way. Don't try to sell individual cards. But they're the same value. They're both made of paper. They're both printed on with ink. And yeah, game to game, they might take on different roles, but in the grand scheme of things, they're the same. Is that a question?
I actually saw a card on eBay that was sold.
Yeah. Was it signed by a celebrity? No. Well, then who knows? I need a volunteer.
Oh. J-O-E-Y.
Why are you sitting backwards?
I can.
The more notable thing is that I didn't notice it till right now. Okay, Naomi, why don't you come up here? I'm just going to have you pick a card. Go ahead and reach in any time and grab a card. Okay, don't show it to me, show it to everyone else, and I'm actually going to have you sign it. All right? Show it to everyone? Okay, can you sign it, please? Which is going to ruin the card, and the whole deck, by the way, because we no longer have that card to work with. Okay, don't let me see it. Show it to everyone, show it to the camera.
This camera.
Hi, camera.
Okay. And I'm going to need one more volunteer, but before you all jump at it, hold on.
Oh yeah.
This volunteer needs to be someone who is, put your hands down, someone who is responsible. Hopefully someone who has like a babysitting background. You're good at, you've already been chosen. No. Keep your card face.
Don't show him. I was babysitting.
Let's see. Who looks responsible?
Not Gina.
Just put your hands out. So we can hear you. I think you're in. Okay.
Gina's responsible.
You sit in the chair.
Yeah, Molly.
Yeah, big round of applause for our volunteer. I'm going to take your card and place it right here into the middle of the deck. Now, I'm not even going to shuffle it because, as we've already been over, this deck is as shuffled as it can possibly be, right? Okay, Molly, are you right-handed or left-handed? Right-handed. Can you put your right hand out flat for me, please? Like this, like you're going to hold a baby bird. Okay, put your other hand on top. Sorry. Okay, now what card did you pick?
The 5.
Diamonds. Okay. By the way, did any of you have the 5 of diamonds when we were playing earlier?
No.
Does anyone remember what card they had?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I have 9 of spades.
So here's what we're going to do. The card is placed into the middle of the deck. I'm going to snap my fingers. The card's going to jump to the top of the deck, and I'm going to remove the card from Naomi's hands without looking. That'd be a pretty incredible trick, right?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, sorry. Molly's hand. Pretty good, right? If I'm able to pull this off, are you all going to burst into uproarious applause?
Yes.
Okay.
What time?
Actually, I'm going to just Stay still. I'm gonna make sure it's in the camera. The camera, by the way, is so that later on you all can watch this because I'm not gonna do it twice. All right, here we go. Now I need you to just lift your top hand just enough so I can take one card only. Up a little more. The top card stuck to your hand. There we go. Okay. One card only from the deck. And it is, oh, Joker. Okay. No, that was it. Okay. I think I know what happened. Because I wasn't the one who picked the card, I'm just running this. I think I need Naomi to snap her fingers over the deck, and because the card's going to listen to her because she picked it, right?
What if she can't snap?
Yeah.
I can snap.
She can snap. See,
What if you
part
can't
of
snap?
this, part of what we're doing here, part of what we're doing here is that these cards, in a sense, represent us, right? Like your own identity, and we form different groups of different people, different hands, in a way with different people. But we all have our own identity. We're all unique in the deck. So Naomi, go ahead and snap your fingers over the deck. Boom. Lift your hand up just enough for me to take one card. One card only from the deck. And this is the other Joker. Okay. No,
Maybe you need to point out.
Okay, let's, actually, hold on. Earlier when we were playing the game, Chandler, you said you had that card, right?
Yeah.
Let's try this. Why don't you come up here? Can you snap? Over the deck? Okay, let's
Stanley!
one card. One card only. It is the final
Is that all planned
You
out?
can sit down. Chandler, you can sit down.
Good job, Stanley.
Now, Molly's not sitting down yet.
She is sitting down.
She's not back in the audience yet. One last thing.
Are you going to make her disappear?
Yes, that was all planned out. I'm not going to make Molly disappear. We found the card we were focused on, right? And this is the card that the whole trick's been about, right? Right? I mean, it's signed. It's the card the trick's about. This is not what the trick's about. Okay, Molly, you said you were responsible, right?
Yeah.
You said you're good at keeping track of people?
Yeah.
Did you keep track of the deck?
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Show everyone the deck.
Cadabra.
Oh my God.
What?
Are you kidding me?
Okay, hold on. Sit down.
Whoa!
You go ahead and take it out. You can pass it around. Pass it around. Also, and then if you can figure out how to turn that back into a deck of cards, I'll give you $5. Now, go ahead. Go ahead. Sit down. Sit down. Okay.
Oh, there's the camera.
So you can pass it around and look at it, because I know you're all curious. But while you're doing that, I need you to listen. Okay? Are we listening? Magic, like real life, has some tricks to it. I had Naomi pick this card, sign this card, and you were also focused on this card. You were waiting it to disappear or reappear. That you weren't even don't clap for that. That you weren't even watching the deck, right? Was anyone watching the deck?
Yeah.
No, you were waiting for the card.
It was under a cover.
It is not in my pocket.
But what is the deck?
The deck's gone. You have it. Someone has it.
What?
Oh, someone has it.
What's the point? Here's the point. Listen. Listen. If the card represents you, if you have your identity in this card, the card represents you in this trick, right? If you're too focused on yourself, if you're too focused on the card you're using, and you lose sight of other people, what happens? It's not just that one card taken away from the deck makes the deck lose its value. It's that the whole deck might disappear without you looking at it. This week we've been doing a lot of different jobs, right? How many of you have done jobs that you wouldn't necessarily choose to do as your profession?
I like doing lawn service.
Those of you who still have your hands up, maybe. Some of you who still have your hands down, well, you're welcome. You found your career. For the rest of you, you have learned a little bit about what it's like to do a job you don't like to do, but guess what? Somebody has to do that job. You might not like being the 3 of clubs. You might rather be the king of spades, whatever I used at the beginning. But somebody has to be the 3 of clubs. Somebody has to collect garbage. Somebody has to wait tables. Somebody has to be president of the United States. But we all have the same dignity as human people, right? We all have the same value as cards in a deck. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You take away any one of those, the deck doesn't work for a card game, for a magic trick, for anything.